Hi, welcome to a tour of my 2026 journal ecosystem. I want to go over what I'm going to be using in 2026, things that I liked from my 2025 journal setup that I either will be carrying over into 2026 or will be leaving in 2025. My 2026 ecosystem is really going to contain these two journals. This is my traveler's notebook, where I have my 2026 weeks, as well as just a dotted insert from Traveler's Notebook. I just like to use this as a diary. It's nothing special, really. Sometimes I do a little bit of junk journaling, but really just a diary. But the weeks is really the standout of my Traveler's Notebook, which is a funny thing. And then my cousin, which is new to me this year. I've never had a cousin before. As far as some things that I liked in 2025, this is my 2025 Hobonichi Weeks. I have loved her greatly, and I'm honestly sad to retire her. I love this design. That's so me. She's mostly full. I did get the January start, even though I literally started this in April. I didn't know it at the time that they made April starts, and so I just bought the January start. I don't know if I would have been able to get this design in April start, so whatever. That's okay. Yeah, I guess what I'll start with is I did this thing in my 2025 weeks, which was my first weeks, may I add, where I would use the calendar page. Just like normal, I would fill out things I have going on. I honestly forget about these pages pretty frequently, but that's fine. And then once the month is over, I would go back and I would make these little collages with items that I got throughout that month. So in March and April, my partner and I went to Europe. We went to a few different cities and countries, and I just made little junk journal collages for the month out of things from those trips. It was in both March and April. Not the whole month, but just a little chunk of each. And that was by far the most notable part of those months. And then after that, I just used different things that I collected over the month and just made these fun little collages with them. And in June, I even made some notes about just like notable things from that month. Yeah, I honestly stopped doing this. I don't think I've done one. Yeah, I didn't do one for September, October, etc. Oh, I did one for October, but I stopped doing this and I really miss it. I'm going back and forth on if I will be doing this in my weeks or if I'll be doing it in my cousin, but I do know that this is something I want to continue because looking back at this now at the end of the year just has me so nostalgic, and it's so hard to feel like time is special when you're in the present, but then when you come back to it, just makes me nostalgic and happy to see what was going on. I'll be doing that either in my weeks or in my cousin. Do a little juice break. I've been drinking these Trader Joe's turmeric twist juices non-stop. They're so good. It's like a giant ginger shot for your bod. In 2025, I feel like I really narrowed down what I like in my layouts. You can see my very first ones. I really I wasn't doing much. And I do like how strictly functional weeks can be, but you can see as I got like my footing and I don't know, whatever. It's been a really fun little journey, but I really feel like I've figured out how I like to have my layouts, and I really got into a groove with trackers, and trackers are something that I will for sure be doing in 2026. I have been dealing with some chronic illness that specifically has a lot of pain in my hands and my feet. Being able to track that pain has been super helpful, especially when I go back to my doctor and I'm talking about how things have been going. I definitely have made some other changes, as you can see in some of my newest weeks that I have begun to start in my 2026 weeks. But I feel like that should be a separate video, and if you guys want a layout of how I use my Hobonichi, I can do that. Something that I really want to do in 2026 is divide these between like functional planning my day to day, and then this is a reminiscing and more of my memory area. So this is like planning my life, and this is like an enjoyment of my life. A space for more documentation. Just by the way that these are designed with these whole pages that you get per day, I really foresee that the cousin is just going to be a way better place to really ruminate on what media I've been consuming, whether it's books I'm reading, music I'm listening to, movies, TV shows, a place to go more in depth about my hangs with friends and just social things that I go and do, a place for me to really keep track of my sewing and knitting projects, and just these really more in-depth kind of life things, whereas my weeks I really see as just like a planner so that I know exactly what I need to do, whatever, whereas this will be really more of a meditation and a thing to fill out daily to get me present in my life, whereas this is just to get me doing things. So I guess the biggest change to my 2026 workflow is just that kind of separation, whereas before everything was in my Hobonichi. So as I'm talking about this has me like, yeah, for sure I should be doing that collage in my cousin instead of my weeks. So I guess I have my answer. I could like really go into depth about some of the things that I want to do in my cousin, but I think I might save that for a separate video because I want to do so much with this. I have so many plans, so many hopes and dreams for this lady, and I would really love to share it with you, but I'm scared that this will just be a rambly, long video. So maybe I'll make another one. I do know that in 2026 I want to be more decorative. I really started getting there and I started playing around with a lot of things, and that's something that I just want to stick with. I really feel like I'm finally really finding my style of journaling. Just finding my own journaling style that doesn't feel like I'm copying things that I see on the internet, at least, you know, as much as you can. I totally take inspiration, but I do really like this to be a place for me to be my creative self and not a copying of others' creative self, but like, how original can I really be? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, more decoration in 2026. I also am considering decorating this more, but I just haven't found any stickers or things that really ruminate with me, so I've just left a few on here. This one says small dog with a big dream, and I just really resonate with that one. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and thanks for getting to know a little bit about how I journal. I hope this is going to be fun and substantial for me without being like a crazy undertaking for the year. Yeah, thanks for being around, and I will see you later. Bye.